Welcome to the Friday edition of Juan's World, and we're coming up to Christmas. Christmas Eve will be Sunday, Christmas Day will be Monday, and then supposedly I'm going to be doing a Tuesday video on Boxing Day, and I probably will, but probably be short and sweet like today because I'm so busy with other things. And I'm not sure about 2024. I may start easing up on the accelerator pedal a little bit with my videos in 2024 because I've got an awful lot of writing and publishing to catch up on. So today I wanted to talk about Christmas in the digital era, and I want to talk mostly about Christmas cards, but also about the digital era in general. So let's get started on that. Now, I've spent years and years and years talking to people about the digital age and its advantages and disadvantages. And what many people want to say is the digital age, the age of the internet, the World Wide Web, smartphones, Google, what have you, that somehow these have made us more connected. And my argument is no, they haven't. I don't think they've made us less connected. I think we've just always never been very connected to one another. And the digital age just points out how disconnected we are in different ways. Now let's get started with Christmas cards. Back in the 1980s, when I was a young sprout, no money, wanted to keep in touch with people at Christmas time, I used to, and my wife more than me, used to draw a Christmas card, pen and ink drawing, each year something different. Most of the time my wife actually did it because she's a better artist than I am, but sometimes I would do it, and we would draw, take a A4 sheet and divide it into four, like fold it up so that it had a cover, and would draw the Christmas image on the cover, open it up and put in some kind of message, and then sign it, and then open it back out, take it to the university's copy machine, where at the time I could copy things for free, and make, let's say, 150 copies, and then buy 150 envelopes and fold up the cards into the envelope, address them, stamp them, send them off. Used to cost us quite a bit of money. Back in those days, I think it cost us maybe about $35, $40 to send everything. That means that we weren't buying cards. This was just the cost of postage. I'm not even including the cost of the envelopes. So like maybe $50, and $50 in those days was a lot of money for us. That would be a month's groceries. I barely had the money to buy the groceries each month. I used to often have to do what's called kiting a check. That is, I would go to the supermarket after the banks closed on the day before my check would be deposited, and I would write a check at the supermarket for our groceries, and they would take it, obviously, because they knew us, but I didn't have money to cover it. the next day I did. By the time that the check was deposited, my payment for my salary would be deposited, and so it would clear. But on the night when I was buying my groceries, I didn't have any money. That's how things were for us. And yet, somehow we managed to scrape together $50 to send off our Christmas cards. And, you know, they're not gaudy, you know, they were black and white. But they were personal. And we would get back lots and lots of cards from people. And when we got a certain number of them, we would string ribbons over the windows in our living room and start hanging the cards, so that by the Christmas time, by the time we were ready to sit down and have our Christmas dinner, then pretty much most of our living area would be festooned with cards. And that was great. I mean, we just loved to hear from people. And a few of them would include a Christmas family message, you know, like, greetings to all, we spent this year climbing Kilimanjaro or vacationing in Devon, or, you know, whatever, you know, like, our son just got into college, and all that sort of stuff. And that was kind of fun. Well, that's all gone. I mean, that was real connectivity. We used to say back in those days that we didn't communicate with such and so friend very often, but we would always send a Christmas card. Well, do you know how many Christmas cards I get now? Well, now, I'll give a small proviso here. It's almost impossible to send a card to me here in Cambodia. The postal service just doesn't work when it comes to letters. If you send a package, you've got a pretty fair chance of getting it to me, and if you pay for tracking, it will actually get delivered right to my apartment building. And my sisters do that, and they include a card in with their packages, so I get 2 cards a year. A couple of years ago, I got a card from an old college friend. I don't know how it got through, but somehow or other he sent it to me, and it actually got courier delivered to my apartment building. So that year I had 3 cards. And I remember back when I lived in Italy, I had a small moan about how we don't send cards anymore. And one of my former students sent me a card to my address in Italy. And I'd put on Facebook, I'd put my physical address so that everyone that I knew there, I don't have many Facebook friends, I have about 100. They all have my address. One of them sent me a card. All right, so tell me how we are more connected now that we are in the digital age than we were before. It doesn't seem like that to me. I mean, look around. How many cards do you see festooning my apartment? You know, I've got one right now. This is from my elder sister in the package she sent, which I opened, and I expect there's another one in the package from my younger sister, but I haven't opened it yet. So I don't always know if everything's wrapped inside, and so I've just left it, and it'll probably have a card in it. So I'll have 2 cards this year. So before the digital age, I used to have a minimum of 70 cards sent to me, and now I have 2. So are we more connected or not? Do people send me digital cards? Well, so far I've got 1 digital card. 1. I've sent out maybe about 20 digital cards. I'll send more out to family a little closer to the date, but I sent out a batch of them yesterday to just, you know, friends in general. And I use a company that makes wonderful cards. You know, they're animated and they do all kinds of jolly things. And this year I sent one that that was made up of white peacocks who all stand together when they make a kind of a Christmas tree thing. And I was amused by it because back when I lived in New York, I had the opportunity to buy white peacocks to breed them, and I looked up what it takes to to keep peacocks. I said, no. I mean, apart from the fact that I know that they make horrible sounds, um, you know, they, you know, it's okay. No, yeah, I can do without that. But also I had, you know, coyotes and foxes and so forth that would eat them, and you know they require very high roosts because they have to have their tails hanging down when they sleep, and it just all seemed it ended up seeming like too much. So I didn't buy a breeding pair, but I did think about them, and I sent out that card. And the card allows the recipient to just reply. All you've got to do is hit the reply button, and a box opens up, and you can say, "Thank you very much for the card. It was really beautiful." All right, so I sent out, as I said, I don't know, maybe 20, maybe 25 cards. I've received 3 replies. I, no, I mean, my average when I sent out, you know, physical cards was probably about 2 to 1. I probably sent out, let's say I sent out about 150 in total and got back about 75. That would be about fair. So here I send out 20, 25, and I get three replies back. Not another card in reply, just a mechanism to reply, and 3 people have done it. So let me ask you again whether you think that the digital age has made us more connected or not. What it looks like to me is that it's made us much, much, much less connected. And I need it because I don't live very close by people. I have to have some kind of letter or email or something in order to feel engaged, because I live so far away from everybody. And the answer is, well, you're disconnected. You know, I ought to be more connected because we live in a digital age, and I feel less connected. So I wish you a Merry Christmas. I'll be back in touch next week to go over my general maunderings about 2023 and 2024 as we approach New Year's. So have a joyous holiday, and I will see you again next week.